Hi all. Uh, in this video, uh, we will see how to do agile planning and portfolio management using Azure Boards. So Azure Boards is basically a service, is one of the services of Azure DevOps, the Microsoft DevOps platform. All the steps I'm going to show in this demo will be referred from the Azure DevOps lab document. uh, and the tool I'm going to create a team project with predefined work items and repo and other stuffs, pipelines and other things, is the Azure DevOps demo generator. So let me show you those things. So this is the lab. uh, the steps I'll be following from this lab for the video, and the tool to create the team project uh, is from the Azure DevOps demo generator. Let's start with creating the team project using the demo generator tool. So I'm going to create the team project called Parts Unlimited. Let me sign into the tool. And by the way, this is my uh, the DevOps account or the DevOps organization. I'm going to create the team project called Parts Unlimited, and I'm going to choose the template as Parts Unlimited here. So the template is basically you know it's not a process template. It's basically the demo generator template which comes with the predefined work items, repos and other stuffs. Okay, and let me select the organization here, learn DevOps with me, and let me create the team project. So this will create a team project in my organization, the DevOps organization here. You can see it is creating the teams, the board column settings, work items, build pipelines and release pipeline. So it's almost done. Yes. So my new team project is created. Let me go to the team project. So first tip is done, creating a team project. So the next task is you know uh, working with the team's areas and iterations. So we'll create a team called PUL Web and assign iterations for that. So this is my team project. I can quickly see the details here, and already 171 work items, pull requests, commits, all these are done using the demo generator tool. Let me go to the project settings and create a new team. I'll go to the team section. Then you can see already a couple of teams are available, and this is going to be the default team with the team project name Parts Unlimited. So I'm going to create a new team called PUL-web. I can add the members here, give a description about this team, and add the team administrators here, and even what permission this team should have in general, right? So I can give that line, either it should be a contributor, reader, the uh, permissions available in Azure DevOps, the basically the groups available in Azure DevOps. And also I can it'll ask me whether to create an area path for this. Yes, it's required. So let me click on create. So let me go to the newly created team. So I'm the only member of this team. That's fine. So let me go to iterations and area paths. And I can see for this team, these are the general settings. I can define the backlog levels like apex features and backlog items. We can define the working days, what will be the working days for the team, and how the bug should appear and behave. Either it should be a part of a requirement, or it should be managed as a task, or it should not be part of the backlog of the board. Let me go to the iterations and select the iterations here. By default, my backlog iteration will be the team project, the base iteration parts limited. And let me select three iterations, and you can see that the the demo generator tool has created all these sprints and with predefined dates also. So I have one sprint, the sprint one is of past date, and the current sprint is sprint 2, and I have the future sprint also. Okay, so we have created a team, then we have added the sprints for the team. Let's see what is the next task. So now in this team, we'll go and create work items. Those will be basically an epic work item, a feature, a PBI, and a task, a few tasks. So basically, this is the hierarchy. Epic is the, you can say, a larger, a feature. Uh, at a very high level, we define epic, then break down those epic into features, and each feature again will be, broken down into PBIs, product backlog items, and again each PBI will be again, broken down into the tasks. So usually the standard practice is like we define epic, which is basically takes I can say 1 to 3 months of time. Okay, so that's the duration for the epic. It's a larger item, whereas feature will take I can say a couple of weeks to months, and PBIs are basically it can be 1 day to a week, kind of thing. Tasks are recommended to be created where we can complete the task within a day. So that's the standard recommendation. So let's go and create these work items. So let me go to the boards. So there are different ways to create a work item. One is, let me go to the dashboards view and select the overview. So I can create a work item from here. So let me enter the title and choose epic and click on create. This will again open up in a new window. So, and let me select the area path as the web, and even the iteration as sprint 2. This is a work item form layout, and you can see it has many details like title, the assignee. So let me assign to me. Then it has got tags, state workflows, then description where I can give a detail about this, and acceptance criteria discussion. Okay, and it has got the, I can say, scheduled start date and scheduled target date when this epic should be completed. And there are other fields called priority, uh, effort is basically, you can say, a number, a relative number, where we it actually defines how much, how amount of work now it's going to take to complete this epic. Whereas business value, again, it's a relative number. The higher the business value, the more critical this epic to be implemented, right? Whereas time criticality, it's related to the business. So higher the time criticality, so it is very important. And if the implementation of the epic is delayed, then we are losing the a business value here. Again, in the value area, we have business and architectural. Business is basically kind of, w- when we implement this epic, we are solving a customer need, or a scenario here. Or it can be architectural, where we are kind of changing or altering the application design or application architecture, right, in order to again provide a solution to customer. Let me choose it back to business. So this is a just an sample or example team project. So what we are trying to do here is, uh, the stakeholders of this company have decided to have the product training provided as part of the this application. So we are defining a product training as an epic. Let me save and close. Then under this epic, we'll create a feature called as training dashboard. So let me go to boards here, and let me go to the PUL web boards, and let me switch it to, okay, I don't have epic here. Let me go and change it to, let me add the epic as my backlog item also. So I'm just going to enable this here, and let me go to the epics view, and I can see an epic here, right? So let me go and add the feature, which is going to be the training dashboard. So it can be added in this fashion, or I can go to backlogs view, and I can select epics. I can click on add feature, then even create a feature work item, and it will have a parent called product training. So we have created features. I mean, basically one feature we have created. So let's create PBIs for this. Let me add a product backlog item. And let me add the other two PBIs also for this feature. I have to just click on this plus mark. So I've created all the three PPIs for this feature. Let us switch to the backlog board here. So I'm just going to the backlog items. So in this board I can uh, drag and drop the items. So it will basically change the state of each of these items. I can go and commit on this particular PBI, and I'll say that we are going to work on this or this is kind of this PBI is approved, and later on I'm going to commit and work on those things. So let's go and create tasks for these PBIs. So let me go to the backlog view here, and for one of the PBI, let's create the tasks. Let me go ahead and create the task work item for this. So here I'm going to define, you can see here the area path in the sprint remains same as the parent work item. Let me go and put a remaining work here, right, as 5, and I can define the the type of activity. So I can say this is a development activity. Let me save this. So similarly, let me create one more work item. And maybe I'll say remaining work as 3, and this is a design work item. So the task is of design type. Okay, so what we did is like, let me show it from the beginning. So we created epic, and for the epic we created feature, and for the feature we created PBIs, product backlog items, and for the product backlog item we created tasks. So this is my planning view. I can choose whether to make it off or on. So let's see what is the next task. So in this again we'll manage the sprints and capacity. So basically we have defined the PBIs in the task, and now let's see how these product backlog items and the task uh, you know can be planned in the sprint, and how we can do a capacity planning for the developers or resources, and how to track the status. Let me go to the sprints here. Under board section we have a sprints, and you can see here, let me click on the work details. So I can see for the PBIs we have tasks, and each column like to do, in progress, done, and you can see there is a summation of the remaining hours it shows in each of the column, and even for the PBI, and it's easy to change here. I can just change it. So let's go and do a capacity planning. Okay, so I'm the only one user here, and let's say I'm going to say 1 hour per day, the availability of the resource, and he will be involved in the development activity. Okay, let me save this, and if I come to task board, you can see here based on uh, the the iteration, the sprint duration, and the number of hours per day, there's a calculation like 15 hours. The total team capacity is 15, and this per individual user's team capacity is 15 hours. Let me go back to the capacity and say that I'm going to take off for some days, and we'll see how the calculation changes. So I'm going to take let's say from 15th to 19th, that is 5 days off. Okay, let me click on save, and let me back to the task board. You can see here it from 15 it became to 10 hours, and my individual capacity also is 10 hours. The the capacity planning and the sprint planning helps us to easily plan the work, the capacity of the team, and even we can have the planned holidays or offs of the team members, and even uh, the entire teams, so that we'll actually know what is the availability of the resources of the team. So let me assign a work item to the user, and you can see here the availability is like 5 hours of you know 10 hours, so 5 is already occupied. Now let's see, I'm just going to change this to 10 hours. It's going to take 10 hours effort. So and then we'll see how the things will change here in the planning side. And you can observe here, I'm fully occupied for 10 hours, but you can see here the team's status shows as red because there's one more task that has to be completed. So total is 13 hours, but the entire team capacity is 10 hours. So this way it's very easy to identify the status, and if the resources are properly utilized or not, or overutilized or underutilized. All those things we can see, and also we'll come to know whether we'll be able to complete all these tasks in this sprint. If not, then we can uh, move the tasks uh, you know to the next sprints, so we can do that. Let's go back to the task mode. I can change the view. So the current view is backlog items view. I can change it to the people view, like where I can see based on the resources how much task is assigned. All those details I can get to know. Okay, and we can even change uh, the settings for the board where we want to highlight certain things. Okay, so let me go to the configure team settings option, and you can see we can add the fields that can be shown here in the cards, or I can go and add a style where, let's say, uh, I want to add a rule called development. Then let me choose the color option, maybe green, and I can say show you know the card as green when the activity with the task type, right? When the activity is equal to development, right? So we have seen here, like the backlog navigation levels. I can include like epics features and backlog items, or I can disable epics so that I'm just tracking only the features and backlog items. So again, here I can define the working days for the team, and how the bug bug behavior will be there in this board. So whether the bugs will be treated as similar to the requirements, so where I create a bug and a task under that bug, or the bug will be treated as a task, right? Or where we don't want to track the bug in the boards. So let me save this, and you can see the task, because this task is the you know the activity type is development, and because of that it is showing it as a green. So this was all about the sprint planning, the capacity planning, and the task board. So now let's see what is the next task. So next, we are going to see how to customize the Kanban board, basically based on certain tag colors, adding new columns, setting the work in progress, limit. It's called WIP limit, and even splitting the column into doing and done, uh, and adding the definition of done, and even swim lanes. So in the Kanban board, I can add new columns without altering the workflow or the states of the work items. So it's basically to quickly know, the status, or to quickly track the progress of my features or PBIs or epics, right? So I can, add more columns and set work in progress limit. So at any point in time, I want only, let's say, 5 work items which are in progress. We don't want to add more items, in the backlog, right? In progress state, it means, the team is stressed out or we need more people. So we want to take smaller number and limit adding more items in progress state. So and also, there's a general process like, let's say we have, let me go to the boards. So we have approved, committed, and other states, right? But let's say, we introduce this new state called as QA, right? So when it comes to the QA stage, we don't know whether it is the QA stage is done or it's in progress. So it's difficult to identify that. So that is when we split the column into doing and done, so that we'll know the QA is approved or it is still in progress. So instead of pushing the item from one state to another state, so it will be basically pulling the item, from done state to the next state. So let's see that in the, in the demo. So let me go and configure the team settings. So let me start with the tag colors basically. Okay, so let me go and add a tag. So I'm going to say, for the work items which has a tag called data, it should, the tag should be highlighted with yellow color, right? These are the annotations, for tasks. These are the visualization annotations, right? So it's easy to identify. Uh, when it comes to testing, uh, you know we can enable how the test should appear and behave on the board, on with the cards, right? So whether I can, whether I should be able to create a new plan using the area or iteration of the selected card, or it should be, I should be able to select a test plan and all the test cases created will be part of that test plan. Yes. So here, now we are going to add a new column called QA approved. So I'm going to have this QA approved after committed state, and I'm going to set the work in progress limit to 1. Okay, let me save and close. And you can see we have a column called as QA approved. So let me, drag and drop this item, and you can see the work in progress limit here. And if I add one more item, it turns to red color, right? So basically it says at any point in time there should be only one item which is in QA approved state. Let me go back to the team settings. So we're discussing about, splitting the column into doing and done. So let me enable that, and also let me define the definition of done. Just say all the test cases should be passed when we say it's being approved. Okay, so now you can see here under QA approved column or state we have this doing and done. So this ideally help us to identify in what state it is, like whether it is still in progress QA stage or it is done, so that it can be pulled to the other state. And also we have the definition of done. So this gives a clear idea for the team when they say, okay, I've completed the item or completed the work. So they are going to accept these criteria that all the test cases are passed. So now I'm going to add the swim lanes. So we have seen these vertical columns where I can track the status of the my PBIs, whereas swim lanes provides the horizontal classification of the items, right? So if I want to have a horizontal classification where I'll say you know items which are very critical or which should be done fast, expiry date, right? So I want to put those things on a high priority and others on the other swim lane. So to define that, let me again go to team settings, then go to swim lanes, create a new swim lane, expedite, save and close. And now you can see here, right? So now if I have to put this item in the expedite state, the swim lane, so it means the QA team will be once they are free, they will be taking up this on high priority, then this. Both are in the same thing, but they'll be start working on this, which is in under the expedite swim lane. So let's go to the next section. So we are done with the creating the work items, doing the sprint planning, capacity planning. Even we discussed or showed the demo on the how to do customization on the task board and uh, the Kanban board. So let us see how to create dashboards, basically the charts, the widgets. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to create a new dashboard and add the charts to that dashboard. So let us create a dashboard called product training. So for the same team, so we want to have a separate dashboard. So let me go to the dashboards. So you can see this is one dashboard. This is created by the demo generator tool with all the widgets and all those things. Okay, let me go here and let me go and create a new dashboard under PUL Web team and name it as product training. So I can say whether it's a team dashboard or a project dashboard, and I can set this all the charts or the entire dashboard has to be like refreshed every 5 minutes. All those settings can be done here. Let me create it. So we have a product training dashboard. So let me go and add a widget here. Maybe I'm interested in the sprint details, so I can search sprint related dashboards. So I'll say I want to add a sprint overview, then even I want to add a sprint capacity. So you can for the teams you can define here for which team you want to see the sprint capacity. Similarly, you can go and configure the sprint details here, like for which team, and it should be based on the effort, that is story points, or the number or it should be based on the count of work items. So I'm done with the editing. So let me go to the sprints, and let's say I'm going to work on this, right? And let's go to dashboards, and you can see here, so it's already updated. So out of 5 work items, one is started, 4 are not yet started. So it gives a quick information about how many days are remaining, what is the status, and what is the sprint capacity, the team capacity, right? So it shows red because you know that we have 10 hours capacity, but 13 hours work is assigned. Okay, so the next thing is I want to create a query, and you know based on the query I want to create a chart. So let me go to the query section, new query. I want to see all the tasks of the area path PUL-web. Let me click on run. So I've got 2 tasks. So let me save this query as web tasks under shared queries. So when I select shared queries, it is for this query is visible for the teams, and I can use this query to add the charts to my dashboard. But when I select my queries, it's only visible to me. So now let me go to the charts. So here I can create a new chart based on the query. So here I'm going to see the work items grouped by assignees, right? So I'm going to name the chart as web task by assignment. Click on OK. So now the chart is created under this query, and if I go to dashboard, okay, I have these two sprint related charts. So let me see how to bring this also to my product training dashboard. So I have to just click on this ellipse button, add to dashboard, then I can select the dashboard. So I'm going to select the product training dashboard, click on OK. So that's it, done. So now it's will be available here, you can see that. So this is all about creating a new dashboard and adding charts or widgets. So there are a lot of widgets tasks available here, so we can use all those things. So it's mainly on the work item side, on the repo side, testing, on the CI/CD pipeline. So a lot of charts are available by default. So let's see in the next section. So the last section, so we're going to see how to customize the process. Basically, the team projects are created using a process, either Agile, Scrum, or CMMI. Azure DevOps provides 4 process templates. Uh, Process templates are basically, you can say the process template defines the work item types, the state or workflow of those things, of the work items, the fields, uh, and the what data we want to capture. So all these are defined in the process template. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a custom process template. uh, you know the default process templates cannot be edited, so we have to inherit from the default process templates and create our customized templates. So we're going to create a customized Scrum template. Then in the customized template we are going to add a field, custom field. Okay, uh, for the product backlog item. And the current project, we are going to uh, like we are going to say that okay, this now the current project refer to the customized template. Okay, so let's see that. So to do that, we have to go to the organization and organization settings, and under boards process, and here, okay, so I already have a customized process created. So let me just create one more. So from the Scrum process, I'm going to create a inherited process. So let me click here and name it as customize Scrum 1, and I can give the description about this. Let me create the process. Once it is created, okay, let me go to the process and to the work item, that is PBI. Here I can define a new field, okay, where it should be placed the layout. So let me click on new field and name the field as fuel ticket ID, and the layout maybe in a new group I want to create. So I want to name it as parts unlimited, and the label maybe I want to give as a ticket ID. Okay, so since the field is already there in the other template, so it is not allowing me to create a new field with the same name. So let me just change it with 1, right? So the field is created here. Now let me again go to the all processes, and uh, I guess currently my project is under a Scrum template. I'm going to change it to the customized Scrum 1. So this is the process template we just created. So I'm just going to select that. Okay, you can see the project is now using this process template. So let me close this. Now let me go back to the project and go to the work items. Let me create a new PPI, and you can see here under parts limited group I have this ticket ID. And if I go to the history, I can see the details of that also. So this is my custom field, and it is having some value here, whatever I have entered in the text box. So we can do a lot of things in the process template customization. Maybe I will have a separate video on that where I'm going to show how to create a new work item type, how to change the portfolio levels, right? How to add a new level. So we have epic and feature, but how to add one more level, right? All those things I want to have a separate video where we'll see only about process customization. So for now, I think we have completed all the exercises or tasks of the Azure DevOps lab, that is Agile Planning and Portfolio Management. So all the details are done here. So even we have went and customize the team process. Thank you for watching this video. So please like and subscribe and share this video. Thank you.